Here's nerds. I already have my drink ready, and it's in a Guinness glass, and it's not Guinness, it's Heineken. Back on the moves.
It
What are
looks
you
like
drinking,
pea water.
Thomas?
It looks like
I
pea
know,
water,
right?
bro.
Does actually kind of, it's quite flat. Oh, that looks like some Illuminati shit.
Yeah, eye to eye is it what it's called. It's from a local. It's an Irish red ale though, and it's from a local brewery. It's pretty. They have some pretty good food and stuff like that. And they're a decent brewery. They have a lot of good food, but they're one of those places that I was like, we're all in. You shouldn't even say that. Never mind. It's like let's just leave that for my show. Um, let's just fucking restart. You're drinking
Why?
piss. It's like I feel like we had a rough start. All right,
I don't
restart.
think it was that bad.
All right, restart. All right, actually, we'll do the.
Are you? Yeah, no, because you were frozen there. You were just frozen. What's up, nerds? Cheers. I'm drinking a Moobs again. Thomas drinking some Illuminati drink.
I for an eye to eye, something like that. It's an Irish red ale, so they're it's nice.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
don't
that
believe
good.
that it's an Irish red ale, but okay, fair enough. So this is an episode I was actually quite excited about. I'm surprised I haven't talked about this in any form, really, like longer form, before now, considering I've been podcasting for quite some time. So much so, I love this movie so much so that I even have this cool Dr. Giggles t-shirt that doesn't really fit me anymore. My moobs are sticking out either side. So yeah, we're covering the 1992 American slasher film Dr.
That
Giggles.
I never saw until Saturday night.
I don't know how you've never seen. Had you heard of this?
Yes, I've heard of it,
Okay.
and I kind of remember the guy and probably the cover. Like definitely do remember like this VHS cover. Didn't intrigue me as much as you would think it would. I don't know why that one's in some sort of foreign language. But yeah, for everybody out there, are you horny for horror?
We're feeling horny for love. We're feeling horny for love.
Yes, we are feeling
I
horny
like
for
that.
blood, even though there's not as much blood as you would think in this movie.
Yeah. Also, a lot of the releases are in a foreign language. I don't. Is this? It's like fucking Spanish or some shit because it was the only release I could get on Blu-ray,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is really random. Yeah, so I first saw this movie um a long time ago actually. I was on summer holidays in New York at my aunt and uncle's house, and I think I definitely told this story before somewhere. Everybody had gone off for the day and like left me in the house alone, and they had like this at the time. Best Buy and places like that were like still like a really big thing, and they would go every Friday and just buy all the new releases, regardless of what they were.
Yeah.
And they had this like pretty big movie collection. And I remember seeing Dr. Giggles and just instantly the name kind of grabbed me. I was like, huh, interesting. And I pull it out, and like it's that obviously with the weird eyes that you guys can see on the video underneath. And I remember just being like fascinated. It was one of those artworks. I don't know why it just stood out to me. I was like, right, that shit looks freaky to me.
Dr. Giggle Touch.
Listen, I looked for sound effects if see if I could get his like laugh from the movie, and that's all I
Didn't
could
get it.
find.
Oh
It was
my
like
god.
Doctor Giggle Touch, and I was like, whatever the fuck that is, that's hilarious. But I tried to find his like. Can you do his laugh?
No, but yeah, I wish I could. I really wish I could, to be
How?
honest.
It's something
Yeah, it
weird, but
is.
I
It's
don't
kind of
like
like
it.
that. It's fucking
I
weird,
don't. I do not
unsettling.
like it. Yes, it is.
But yeah, I remember eventually like getting the courage, stuck it in the DVD
Stuck it
player,
in where?
and in the DVD player, not the movie.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, ever since like it was one of those movies. Like, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and say like it's an Oscar worthy movie or anything like that. When I say I
Definitely
love it
not.
or it's a good movie, I'm not basing it off of any sort of like, cinematography merits or anything like that. It's just nostalgic to me, and it's one of those movies that I will rewatch hundreds of times between now and whenever I die. It's just one of those movies for me. I don't know what it is, the nostalgia of it. I don't know what it is. Um, but yeah, like I feel like there's certain movies that like stand out for like that blend of like I suppose horror and just like sheer absurdity. And for me anyway, I think this is like one of the most overlooked slasher movies of that era that like has that kind of comedic mix to it, like slasher. And just the character and everything. I just feel like it all for me anyway, the whole thing works.
What else is that guy off of? Because he's definitely off of other stuff.
Oh, Larry Drake, who plays Dr.
Yeah.
Giggles. He was in Darkman, which I also love. He
Darkman?
yeah. Did you ever see
watch
that?
too. No.
Dude, so good.
Really?
So fucking good. Yeah. Let's see. So I'll give a quick breakdown here. So it is a 1992 American slasher film directed by Manny Coto, who actually passed away last year.
R.I.P.
Yeah, he wrote episodes of Dexter, American Horror Story, American Horror Stories, like
Somebody pour
shit
out some liquor for that.
shit
guy.
on TV shows that we would have like probably watched. He's like the writer behind them. It also stars Larry Drake as Evan Rendell Jr., aka Dr. Giggles,
Dr. Rendell.
in Darkman, Dark Night of the Scarecrow, and he even voiced Pops in Johnny Bravo. There's one for you.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That show was kind of you could say it was sexist, that's for sure.
And Larry Drake has also now passed away in 2016 from blood cancer.
Blood cancer.
Yes.
Blood cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure it wasn't some big pharmaceutical thing?
Well, I don't know. That's what it says online.
There's some art for this movie, and it doesn't even make sense. I guess it kind of does, but not really this one. Look at this art. Check this out. It's loading. Like this one, he wasn't like stitching somebody's face back together.
So that's a comic that came out after the movie.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah, there was a
Now a major motion picture. Oh, wow, that's cool.
yeah, there was like a two-part comic that came out to try and continue the story. So like this was
Huh.
yeah, there's a whole backstory we'll get into in a second, but yeah, the film's main actress. Did you notice who that was?
No.
Holly Marie Combs. She plays Jennifer Campbell in a movie. She is best known for her role as Piper in Charmed.
I know. Oh, yeah, I never watched Charmed. But she did look
What?
familiar though.
Yeah, she's that chick anyway.
Charmed is like something. Isn't that something like Granny's watch? My grandma would have
don't
watched that.
I don't know. I watched it as a kid. It's
Hmm.
like one of those
What'd
like
you do while
Buffy,
you
like
watched it?
weird fucking I don't know, jerk off or something.
Did you insert it in the DVD player?
The movie also stars Glenn Quinn, who actually has another like pretty kind of sad story. He was a famous Irish actor in the 90s. He starred as Mark Healy in the sitcom Roseanne for 74 episodes, and then he played a
Whoa.
half demon character, Alan Francis Doyle, in the Angel TV series.
My mom used to watch that, so I definitely
So
would
yeah,
peruse it
kind
and
of
watch it.
kind of a weird trend, but he suffered from addiction issues and he was found dead at age 32 of a drug overdose,
You
which
know,
is
sometimes
kind of sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. They go
And then
they're too young, bro.
what's the dude who played Angel? David
Whatever the hell his name is.
Borneos or whatever the fuck he's called. Yeah, he was quoted in 2018 saying that Glenn played an amazing character in Angel, a fan favorite, and became a great personal friend of mine. God rest his soul. So now,
Wow, that's crazy.
R.I.P. my homie. Yeah, so okay. So for people who don't know, Dr. Giggles follows the story of Dr. Evan Rendell, played by Larry Drake, a deranged serial killer who escapes from a mental asylum and returns to his hometown of Moor High to seek revenge. Adopting the persona of a doctor, he terrorizes the townsfolk with his sadistic brand of surgery, leaving a trail of gruesome murders in his wake. As the body count rises, a group of teenagers, including Jennifer Campbell, played by Holly Marie Combs, must confront the madman before he claims more victims.
Bam, bam, bam.
Shot on a budget of
Horror.
$7 million, making
7
around
million.
8.5 million back in the box office.
How much did it make? Okay, so made, what would you say?
8.5.
That's how much they spent?
No, they spent 7 and they made 8.5 at the box office.
It's
But
not that
but
great.
yeah,
This went to theaters?
yeah. So that was only for the theater run, but I couldn't find exact numbers. But from what I gather, this thing absolutely smashed the back doors off the fucking video stores.
It's because the art, man. They pull
Yeah, I know.
people
It's
in
perfect.
with that art.
And it's just that thing like the doctor is out of
Yeah.
his mind.
There is a lot of puns, you could say.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's crazy. So I wrote down my thoughts. Not many, but I did write down my thoughts as I watched it. I watched this in bed, actually, after we watched the newest Hunger Games, which I was pretty disappointed in, not going to lie.
I don't like the Hunger Games. Garbage.
Whatever. I enjoyed it because I am Katniss, but in male form. I don't like the established order of what the government does to people, and I'm pretty sure we're pretty soon we're gonna live in the Hunger Games. I'm pretty sure they're trying to split up cities into districts and then putting up blockades so people cannot drive outside of their city permitted areas. So that's why I like it. But I just laughed at that one line where it's like, Twin Peaks, let's climb. Like the two slutty girls that are like, they look at the twins and they're like, Twin Peaks, let's climb. Which I feel like I'm going to watch that show because everyone keeps telling me to. And I'm like, I haven't seen it. And I'm like, I feel like I have to now. Everyone keeps telling me.
Same.
But I will say it was a fun watch. I'll go through and tell you some of my thoughts as we go through this. But it was a fun watch. It is a bizarre movie, I wouldn't. It's just crazy. Like even the flashbacks are kind of fun. You kind of break it down a bit more, and I'll go through some more of what I think about this. But definitely a kind of like early '90s, late '80s vibe. The clothing,
Yeah, everything about
you
it.
know.
And I love that as well. I think that's like another thing that draws me in. So this was made by Largo Entertainment, who at the time had signed a first look deal with Dark Horse Comics. People out there may not know much about Dark Horse Comics, but they also done other movies in that collaboration, which included The Mask, Time Cop, Alien vs. Predator, Hellboy, Sin City.
A lot of those I do like.
Yeah, same. And I think for them, the whole idea was like, this was going to be, I guess, like the next big thing in film. Not necessarily Dr. Giggles, but I do think there was probably a little bit of intention there about making him like an icon.
Yeah.
I think they were in the early I think they were in the early stages as well of the idea of maybe having some sort of a series involving him.
Yeah.
Which would have been quite interesting, I think.
Well, it could be done. It could be done. The name is like could throw people off, just because it's like Dr. Giggles, like like he just but the actor did a good job. If you want to say about creating a character around a asylum escapee crazy doctor, and we should definitely get in for the people that have not seen this movie. I do think it's worth a watch for especially avid horror fans. I'll obviously give you my true thoughts throughout this, and then at the end tell you my rating. But I can see why it would build a cult kind of love around it,
Yeah. Do you want to hear some of the taglines?
All right.
Sorry, the doctor is insane.
It's so. I will give that one. I'll give it a cheer. I do like it. It's because why not? I thought I had a cheer, but maybe it's just a laugh. It's good.
Give it a laugh. Look, it's Dr. Giggles.
Yeah, it is.
That's fucking weird.
The next one is obviously on screen right now, which is the doctor is out of his mind.
The doctor is out of his mind.
And the final one is a new prescription for terror.
What?
A new prescription for
Oh.
terror.
A new prescription for terror.
You know what? I think they're all quite clever.
Yeah, for what it is, and for they tried their best, because it's.
Here's another one, actually, I forgot about. I love that. Just how fake those hands are. If you're from Moor High and you get sick, fall on your knees and pray you die quick.
Well, they say that literally in the movie too.
Yeah, I know, right? So there's a rhyme in the movie. So, right, let's kind of dig into it a bit more then. In the quiet neighborhood of the fictional town of Moor High, a simple family physician named Dr. Rendell seemed like a nice enough man. There was one problem: his patients kept disappearing. After some investigation, the citizens of Moor High found that he and his son Evan Jr., nicknamed Dr. Giggles for his hideous laugh, were ripping out patients' hearts in a gory attempt to bring back the doctor's dead wife. The townspeople immediately poisoned Dr. Rendell to death by a drug overdose, but Evan Jr. disappeared. 35 years later, the now adult Evan Jr. escapes from an insane asylum by brutally murdering 2 doctors and heads back to Moor High for revenge. In the meantime, the reputation of the Rendell family has been immortalized in a poem used by local children to keep rhythm when skipping. This town has a doctor and his name is Rendell. Stay away from his house because he's the doctor from hell. He killed all his patients, every last one,
for you.
and cut out their hearts purely for fun. So if you're from Moor High and you get sick, fall on your knees and pray you die quick.
I got one for you. 1, 2, doctors coming for you. 3, 4, you better not get the flu. Could have been better.
That could have been better now, I have to say.
1, 2, the doctor's coming for you. You better not have the flu. 3, 4, he's knocking on your door. And if you're a whore, he's probably going to murder you and kick you down on the floor. Oh, man. It is. What?
You know who auditioned for the role of Jennifer, which is like the lead character?
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, my. Really? See? She always complains. You auditioned for this stuff,
and
man.
this was the year before Leprechaun came out, so that's kind of funny, isn't it?
Oh, weird.
So she would have, like, if she had gotten the role for this, let's say, she probably potentially would have gotten her fame from being in a movie like this, and then she probably would have done the same thing she does with Leprechaun and been like, "Oh, Dr. Giggles, fuck Dr. Giggles."
I know exactly. You know that she drank the gold juice though. That's why she used to be my crush, but she definitely drank the blood.
Yeah, you reckon she's a dirtbag?
Yeah.
We're feeling honey for blood.
Do you know what the movie was called in Brazil?
A Spanish doctor kills.
No.
I don't know.
No, and I was expecting it to be something like weird Portuguese or something. It's not. It was just called The Death Specialist.
Dr. Death is a thing though. That's based on, because they have a show about that. That's for that guy, Dr. Shipman, I think, that we'll end up covering on Strange Brew podcast. So get prepared for that. That'll come at some point.
I like that. You're switching it up.
Yeah, I am. I always switch it up. But there's some just absurd scenes in this whole thing. I did write down, I was like, let's trap the black people in the murder house. That's a smart idea.
Have you noticed in horror movies black people die first?
But they do redeem themselves with the deputy that sacrifices himself for the poor white teens.
I kind of like the little switch up actually with that, where the dude pretends something happens to him. And she's doing that like, "Oh, you jerk."
Yeah.
And then you see the little needle poke him in the back, and then all the shit starts coming out of his mouth.
So one thing I will say about this movie is it does lack gore for me. Like if for a slasher film, this is what happens, right? Because of the budget, they end up sacrificing certain kills. And there's some iconic kills. Like there's definitely some iconic kills in this movie, and there's some good effects. But I wanted more from the kills. More. I wanted more.
So funny you say that, right? All those kills were shot like with an R rating or whatever, or NC-17, whatever the fuck it is, in mind. And when this went to the film board or whatever, it got cut to shreds. So there is apparently somewhere out there an
Oh, I'd love
R-rated
to see it.
version floating around.
I like to see it like at the beginning when they're kind of taking over the asylum, and then this scene happens. I predicted what was gonna happen. Well, then maybe not the arms, but I was like, oh, it's gonna be the doctor. But then it went like the ripped off arms groping around like whatever the
Yeah, she's not a
receptionist.
doctor.
Oh, doctor. You know she's getting on with the doctor. You know weird stuff happens, just like an old folks' home where all of them have sex with each other for some reason.
Do you know
You
what
didn't know
used to
that, people.
freak me out actually about that scene? And I don't know if there's an image for it, but when the camera pans up above the operating theater and it
Yeah.
shows when the orderlies come in or whatever, and they're like, oh my god, the patients have escaped or whatever, and then he looks up and it's like all dudes like licking the windows and like fucking
Oh yeah,
rap-
that's very freaky. I did
like
not like
as a
that scene.
kid I remember being like, jeez, because I kind of, I don't know, as a kid I guess assumed that's what it was like.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
I'm
they're,
sure
they're
it
all
was.
probably like that.
The time this comes out, I think that Cropsy will be out on Strange Brew podcast side, and that was we showed video
Scary.
footage of what happens in asylums and stuff like that. I think that we should reopen asylums. You know, I think that we've let the lunatics run the asylum, in my opinion. But you know, to do each is their own. You know, but it's
I
like
find that shit freaky, man.
I agree, and me and you have, especially you. That's why I've looked at certain episodes that we can cover on both ends of the spectrum when it comes to horror and when it comes to actual true crime. That I know specifically that the asylums and stuff freak you out. So I found a couple of episodes that we'll end up doing at some point because I don't know. I know that you have this affliction when it comes to like the idea of the most batshit crazy people, the people you can't even lock in jail because like it would be inhumane. But then you saw the way they treat people at asylums; it's almost worse than is some jail environments. So it's kind of contradictory. But it is interesting, like the callbacks of him. Like, and I did write down that I was like, oh yeah, that's let's encourage that behavior. That's just great. His son's like cutting open a teddy bear when it like flashes back, like when it flashed back to his dad being the doctor, and him obviously being influenced by his father. And then he comes home from work and he's like, oh, look at him, just like cutting apart a teddy bear, so proud, you know. And all his teddy bears are like sewn up.
Yeah, it's you know what? For years I used to think, would it be interesting to do like a more serious take on the character?
Because you could.
Yeah, because I feel like you could make him, obviously you'd have to change it up a little bit, like, but I feel like you can make a character like him with that like weird freaky laugh and shit, like quite menacing.
100%. That there's a way to be able to redo this, even if it is under the name Dr. Giggles, which I think would throw people off. I think it like this is what may make people not want to watch it, just because the name is so weird. Like Dr. Giggles. Like I figured it like when you first told me about this, and then when I saw the cover, I was like, oh, I kind of remember that. I figured it'd be about some clown. Like honestly, I did. Some like weird clown man that was a doctor or something like that. But then when I saw the cover, it definitely did remind me of like going to Blockbuster. And this is what I miss, man. I can I like just go back in time? Why do I have to live in this fucking life now, man? I want to be
I know.
like
Yeah.
I want to be born in like 75, you know? I've always said that I would like to be like a teen or a preteen, whatever, in the 80s because there's so many good movies, horror movies. Things are starting to shift in the culture. You can actually buy a house in your 20s, and music like hip hop was just popping off. You have crazy good punk bands, metal. Like there's so much good things about the 80s and even the 90s. I'm glad I got a taste of it, you know, for like 9 years. But
I know, yeah. I just wish I had been like a little bit older, maybe, to like enjoy it a bit more.
yeah, you know.
Like even
And
now,
then
there's times where I'm like, I wish we didn't have access to all the movies at your fingertips. I wish we actually still had to go to like a video store and like
yeah,
pick up a DVD.
I know. Come here. We'll do mushrooms and we'll just pretend we live in the 80s.
Imagine how much fun that would make the show as well, if like that's how we had to consume media.
Yeah, I know.
Like both of us on the weekend would have to go to our own local video store, get movies and then like watch them and
It
then
would
talk
kind of
about
be
them.
more exciting, right?
Yeah.
Blockbuster was
Yeah.
a shit. There was this place called Flicks. I used to like it. It was downtown in my my little town, and they used to they'd have popcorn at the door. The whole theater would smell like popcorn. It was one of those old school places where the clerk is watching movies, and I'm like, man, I want that job. And then
Yeah, I
one
know,
time,
right?
because the popcorn was like right by the door, like they would bag it up, put it by the door so you could like purchase on your what kind of way out. We used to like just go in the door and then reach your hand in and just take bags. And it got me and my friend really in trouble at one point where we stole like 2 or 3 bags and we were like skipping school that day in like grade 7 or something like that. And then we sat in this like not an overpass but kind of close where there's a lot of busy traffic, and we're just like tossing popcorn at cars, and this guy chased us down and started freaking out at us, being like, "You're gonna make me crash." And I'm like, it's popcorn. It's not a rock, man.
Yeah,
Could
like
be worse.
instantly I was like, you were throwing popcorn. I was like, would that even do anything?
No, and this is so funny. This guy chased us, and then we ran through backyards. And it just reminds me of being the good old days. Like I said, there was another place on the we used to have like the convenience store, then Flicks, and then there was another movie place, another like Plaza, even in the small town that I lived in. And then when it closed down, you had the ability to buy movies, and this is where I got a lot of my VHSs from that my mom took away from me when I was a kid because she thought that being influenced by violence probably wasn't a good idea. I'm fine now, though, I think.
You're gonna be like a school shooter or something.
I want she probably gave them away or whatever, and it sucks because I had like I probably like, I don't know, 30 movies or something like that were like original, like Scream and all this stuff. So I remember Scream and Blade. I had Blade. But it just sucks because like I wish that she would have had retrospect to understand that I probably would have enjoyed those things later on in life and to have kept them. But definitely collecting the VHSs was just, I don't know, nostalgic. And I knew since I was a kid, I remember Grandma would tell me the story about how like she didn't know how to use the VHS thing, and at like 3 or 4, I was like just pushed it in and pressed play and just got everything set up while she didn't know what the fuck she was doing.
I kind of wish we could go back to videotapes, to be honest. There was something about that. I don't know what it was, but there was
Dude,
just
like I
something
said,
about that.
come here and we'll somehow set something up where we can like do a 90s party. And we'll just like make everything look
That would
90s. We'll
be
do
the best
mushrooms
thing ever.
and then just have like a stack of VHSs. Like I said, when I went away to the cottage for my bachelor party that we were hoping you could like kind of come for, but it's just like being on the other side of the world kind of makes it suck. And Brett, my buddy that's on Stranger Podcast, sometimes he has at the cottage just like all VHSs. That's all they have because and they have this huge collection. And we were watching like Grumpy Old Men and Austin Powers all on VHS, and it was like nostalgic. It just even the way like the sounded and it's different, man.
Yeah,
It's
even when
definitely
when you first put it on, you have like the trailers and stuff that come
Yeah.
on. So different,
different
like
times, man.
it's wild. And this is part of I think what ties into why I like this movie, because
Yeah, I can see why.
I kind of attach it to that era, I guess, because it was one of those ones I was exposed to, and I was like, "What is this shit?" Like, because obviously, even more
Kind of
so
sad
being,
that I didn't because I would have loved it.
yeah, and like it felt even more for me, I think, because like obviously growing up in Ireland, that was a movie that I had never heard about.
Mhm.
So like when I seen this thing in the States, I was like, oh, this is like some secret like American like horror movie I've never heard of in Ireland. We just don't have it.
And it's crazy because me and you both have such a love for horror and always kind of have, but you have it even more so where there's like I stuck to my lane, like I had this lane that I was in, and I didn't want to look outside of it too much. I definitely did in some retrospect, but not as much as you did, and that's why for all the fans of Class Horrorcast, like there's a lot of cool stuff that will come down the road because specifically I haven't seen it, and I talk about so much dark shit on my show. It is nice just to talk about things that are fictional. You know,
Yeah, and
that
it's
are
just like a bit of fun. I think that's why I've always loved horror, because I'm fascinated with a lot of those things that you are on your show.
yeah.
And then it was just nice for me to be able to like put on a horror movie and just like decompress, because I know it's all fake.
Exactly. And I enjoyed it for what it was. Like to me, this would be a good movie to like throw on with the boys when you're like drinking, smoking up or something like that, when you're tossing around like bong hits and just laughing your ass off because it is so absurd. And that's part of the reason why I like it, and because I'm so in love with like slasher films. I did like it. And like I said, I wanted more kills though. That's what I was.
Yeah,
I wanted
I'd
more
love
of
to see the R-rated version. of this.
Yeah, because that's shitty. They cut everything. Release it, man. If you have
Yeah.
this footage of this stuff, and maybe in retrospect they didn't take the time to care about keeping it. You know what I mean? But like, you know how
The
we lose
studio or
certain
whoever it
films.
was were like worried about if it got an R rating that they were starting off, I think, on the wrong foot. They wanted like
Yeah,
a teenage, like everybody can kind of see this
yeah,
movie. And they were worried that if it got an R rating that like they were excluding that huge fan base that they thought they were going to get,
yeah. And
which
that's
didn't
always
turn out
like
anyway.
kind of. I know. You know, that's
So
what
it's
they've
kind of
done with
bizarre.
certain movies too. They're like PG-13, and then it's like, oh, you could have this could have been a lot better. And then there's movies they rate 18A where I'm like, something's wrong. I guess you guys don't have that, but you guys don't have the 18A, right?
No, we
So
we talked
weird.
about this a while back.
Yeah,
I
I know.
think we have like we have G for general,
Yeah,
um PG for parental guidance,
yeah.
12,
So weird. We
um
have PG-13, so parental guidance if 13-year-old. So
12, 15, and 18.
that's so weird, man.
18 is like the maximum. That's like
What we
the
need to do is somehow have some sort of watch along, because I've never dived into this, but the Italian movies that are like not rated at all. Because I've told you before on the show about I had that babysitter that was like obsessed with horror. Like, it was the babysitter's boyfriend. He loved horror movies and wanted to go in to do special effects or practical effects actually for, and was going to school for it. And he had an accident which kind of ruined his life, and he broke his back years and years beforehand. And then it kind of just made his life. He was plagued by this, and he said that there's like, yeah, he was telling me when I was like, yeah, I got preteen about how like, you know, maybe 11 or 12, and he was like, yeah, they don't have ratings in Italy, so he's like, they could show you kind of whatever. And there was like such graphic movies that were made, and I've yet to like really dive down that kind of rabbit hole. But if we could do a
same.
watch along for like an hour, you know, like a couple hours, which we'll have to make a day, like a Saturday, but to start maybe diving into some of these Italian horror movies that are not rated, and may do something for Patreon, because it's I've heard it's kind of messed up.
Yeah, there was a lot of those there, I think that, and that sort of became the thing for a while.
Hmm.
Was like
Pushing
those
the limit.
Italian filmmakers and stuff,
Push
and
it
like
to the limit.
yeah, people wanted to deal with like that side of it because there was like no
There's
rating. But then
yeah,
obviously a lot of them when you were looking for distribution, then that
yeah. I
was
wouldn't.
kind of
You would
yeah,
lose
you were just
money that
fucked.
way,
Yeah,
right?
you were becoming like a I don't know what, like a video nasty or whatever, for want of a
Yeah,
better word. You know, it was like one of those things where I guess you were selling the idea of the movie on the fact that it wasn't rated.
I know, which is like
That makes sense.
kind of sketchy. I
But
would
then
like to do an episode about the most controversial films of all time, like Caligula, and there's some other ones that I wouldn't mind diving into. And if you haven't seen some of them, it'd be interesting to see your take, because there's some movies that I've seen that are definitely like that push the boundaries on movies.
you know the scene in this where he puts like the thing into the mouth.
Hmm.
We see like a POV shot, like yeah, that one.
I thought that was fairly good, actually.
It's all right. I don't know if people can notice it at the time or even from that, but to make that shot, they built an oversized mouth prop and they constructed it to fit a full size camera inside the mouth, and then they built him a giant oversized tongue depressor to hold. So like that's actually
Yeah, yeah.
massive. It's just forced perspective.
Well, I can see he's holding it like with his full hand.
Yeah. So like they have the camera like inside of, so like this is like the front of the camera and
Mm-hmm.
like the mouth is like built around it. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
a fake mouth. And so he's like pointing in at it. I just thought that was kind of
It's clever.
unique. Yeah, it's like
And this is
something you
why I
wouldn't really
miss
see nowadays.
practical
It'd be like, oh,
effects.
let's just do fucking CG where we can
I
clearly
know.
tell that it's fake.
And soon it will get so real that we won't be able to tell, and I still won't like it. I'd rather, like I've said before, I'd rather practical effects where I can see that someone's taken time to kind of figure out how to shoot certain scenes. And there is notable death scenes. I'm not saying that there's not, because even the I don't even know what you call that thing that he shoves up the chick's nose. I don't know what the terminology
Um,
is.
it's a
A looky loo. You look inside.
um, what the fuck do you call that again?
I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah,
doctor.
yeah, because you like can't you like you like use it to like look in people's ears
Yeah,
and
and
shit.
it like ears and stuff because it like zooms it in. It's like freaky, man. And being someone that's like doesn't like doctors, I can say that this movie is off. And there's people out there that have like an actual like irrational fear of doctors. So I can say that this movie did freak me out in that retrospect. Is like that. I don't like doctors. I'm sorry. I just think that you can be paid off like any other person, and that a doctor be like, you need this treatment for this, and it can make you worse. We've heard this time and time again, right? My grandmother missed my wedding because they thought she had heart problems, and she's already pretty. She's an old bat, you know. She's like 92 or something like that, and she's my last living grandparent. And they they thought that she'd be able to make it, but then she had heart problems, and they realized that the pill that she was on was causing the heart issues, and they switched the pill, and she was fine. And
Yeah,
she's
that
someone who like
happens.
drinks like Bud Light all the time. I wouldn't recommend it.
Um, you know what else I thought was actually quite unique and creative in this? You know when the officer guy explains like about how Dr. Giggles escaped or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
and it goes back to like the morgue thing, and it's like, yeah, like that's wild. That is
I
fucking
actually
wild. So
really loved that entire scene just because it is so bizarre that I enjoy it that much. Where it is so weird and
that kid
strange.
is scary looking.
Yeah, and then his like like little giggle that he does is like not my
So
thing.
yeah, so for people who don't know what we're talking about there, we get like an explanation, kind of like a flashback scene of how Dr. Giggles, when he was a kid, managed to like escape the whole situation.
Yeah.
So the guy who's like the guard on duty or whatever at the morgue, he hears like this like giggle, and then when he comes to see what it is, Dr. Giggles as a kid is cutting his way out of his mother's body with a scalpel, and then he realizes that his dad must have cut her guts open, put the kid in there, sewn it back up so he could like
To
escape. Yeah.
escape from the house.
Um yeah, and then he threatens the dude or whatever, and he
The guy passes out. He's like,
yeah,
oh, so scary, a child. I'm a cop or whatever.
and then when he when he wakes up, the corpse is like resewn, and like all traces of everything
He had all
just
that
seem to be like
practice
gone.
on his teddy bears, man. He had all
I
that
mean,
practice sewing up his teddy bears. And his daddy was so proud of him, man. And his dad dies, right?
mhm,
Okay.
yep.
I almost forgot.
Or like just there's so many like weird one-liners and stuff that I just can't help. They're so like dumb that I can't help but laugh. Like when he pulls out the golf club and he's like, "Time to do what doctors do best,"
Yeah, do
and it's
nothing.
obviously like, yeah, it's like obviously a play on that or whatever. Or if you think that's bad, wait until you get my bill.
Yeah, it's so funny because I would have like I know that I would have liked this movie as like a preteen
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
boys hanging out, watching it now as an adult where I'm like 32. You know what's funny? I've been saying for a bunch of
It doesn't have the
podcasts.
same.
No, dude, I've been saying for a bunch of podcasts that I'm 31 and my birthday was in November. And then Chelsea turned 32 and I was like, "You're not 32." And she's like, "Yeah, I am." And I was like, "No, we're 31." And I just realized now that for like 2 months after my birthday, I was saying that I was 31.
Dude, you're old.
I know, I'm getting old. You're
You're
what?
so old.
You're 29 now?
No, I'll be 32 in 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, crazy. We're twins, man, twinning.
14th of April, I will be 32 years of age.
Nice. That's so crazy, man. And the thing is, I don't feel old in any way.
No, I often wonder that. I'm like, are other
Am I ever gonna feel
32-year-olds,
like that?
yeah, like feel older to me? I'm like,
Yeah. So
they're adults, but I'm still going around getting fucking Dr. Giggles t-shirts.
yeah, I know. It's wild. And there's that scene specifically was very iconic to me. Like I thought it was. It was kind of cool to revisit a movie, that I've never seen, especially as a slasher film fan. And I thought, what's his name? What's this guy's name again? He did a
Larry
good job.
Drake. Yeah,
he
he's
did.
very good, and he's very good in Darkman as well. He plays like the main character.
Okay, we have
You
to
would
cover
enjoy
that.
those as well. I think that would be a fun one to do.
I could enjoy that, but I wrote down, I'm surprised it wasn't gorier. I'm just
Yeah,
surprised of like because even with Friday the 13th, there was still like some pretty good gore. Like when he even holds what's his name's neck back in the original, or I guess it's the mom, and it cuts through the fucking throat. Like they did a bunch of like even Nightmare on Elm Street. There was very gory scenes, very like bloody, thought out, like ripping through a chest type of scenes. Where this, I feel like they could have done better. Like that fucking absurd Band-Aid scene. I did write that. The big Band-Aid is so dumb.
another one of my favorites is when he's using the stomach pump on I think it's that character called Tamara. I think it is.
I thought you would like the some of the kills, honestly.
Yeah, and he just turns around. He's like, I know it sucks. I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
so dumb. Like,
Oh man, I was trying to find the Band-Aid scene. I don't know if I can find it because it's so. Oh, I did find it. So some in this one, there's not enough. There's thought put into it, but like not enough for me where it makes it like, oh, that makes me cringe or like ooh, like, But the he kills her with a big bandana or a big Band-Aid, not
yeah,
bandana.
this is dumb.
A big Band-Aid, and he just like puts over her mouth, and then it's like when they're in the fun house, and it just turns. But they did they kept using the same type of makeup for a lot of the deaths, where
Mhm.
it's like this really white, gaunt looking face.
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
did for a
yeah. It's
couple
supposed
of
to be like
the
a
death
the
scenes.
dead body or whatever.
Yeah. For this
Um,
one. Can
oh
you
yeah, what does he say? He's
describe?
like, I hope you have protection.
Yeah, well, I wrote down that it's discussing that toothbrush and the condom, and then so this guy essentially he's going to get with his woman, and then he drops the condom in the toilet, and then pulls the condom out and realizes it already has leaks in it, like it's already springing leaks, like there's water forming out of it, and uses a toothbrush of like whoever lives in the house, like her toothbrush or maybe her parents' toothbrush, and then when he goes to like get with the woman, the doctor is like underneath the sheets, and I felt it coming because he's like, "Ooh, I like this," and he's like crawling under it, It's so weird, and then he's like, and then he gets murdered by the doctor.
I just like it because I definitely feel like Larry Drake was really leaning into the character of Dr. Giggles. Like it was obviously clearly supposed to be funny and kind of like zany and
Goofy.
weird. Like
Eh,
at no point was he
yeah.
trying to be like serious about the one-liners.
And the thing is too is like this is what kind of made the film for me where it was enjoyable. If it was somebody else, it's like Robert Englund playing Freddy Krueger. That could have went drastically wrong, especially when they got to the second movie of like Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
For sure.
But for how he played the character, I don't know if somebody else could have kind of brought the audience along. And for true slasher fans, because at the time when this was released, I feel like especially for slasher films, there's always been horror fans for a very long time. I'm sure since Nosferatu and stuff like that. But the thing is how it was kind of, we were just getting that fan base in the early 90s of people finding a true love for these movies and becoming kind of fanatics about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Like I mean, this was what, 1992. So like we were right in that era, I guess. There's another scene actually where is it the cop? The cop was like he says like don't move something, and he's like, I don't believe you had an appointment.
Yeah.
And then he's like, get the fuck away from her. And he's like, oh, have a heart. And he throws the fucking
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
so like
that's
again,
his,
it's just so dumb. Like, but
or when he's like doing the Grinch thing where he's like, too small, too big, just right. Or like, Dr. Zeus,
yeah, for sure. I do feel like there was quite a good balance though between like the horror and humor. And like obviously implied gruesome kills while we didn't get to actually see the end result because a lot of it was cut. Um,
Just kind of sad.
yeah, like it's a pity, and like maybe someday we'll get to see the R-rated cut. I don't know what like companies like Scream Factory and stuff. Maybe we might get to see it re-released. That used to freak me out actually. That like waiting room scene,
Yeah.
a little bit unsettling. But I see what you mean. Again, you can see with two of those characters there, to have that like kind of samey everyone
Whoever
kind of just looks like
whoever
that.
did the makeup effects specifically on the dead bodies, quotations, and the people that died, it was very much the same in every shot of how they presented like the makeup effects. Where especially the girl with the tape on her mouth, right, or the big band-aid. You have to be kind of realistic. These bodies make sense. They've been sitting there for a while. All the blood has probably left the body. I see. I'd be that guy, man, being like, it's got to be realistic, man. It's like it's
Yeah,
got to be
yeah,
semi-realistic, where your body would still be full of blood if you have an instant kill, unless you get your head chopped off. But the very white, pasty look is like a zombie to me. Like when eventually we get to like the original Night of the Living Dead, and even the remake. Especially the remake in the 80s, dude, where everyone was like white. Even like the black zombies, they put like the white makeup on them and it didn't look
yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
I think the guy who done the makeup for this actually done. I'm just pulling up some of the other stuff he done.
Yeah.
So he done Doctor Giggles. Um, let's see what else have we got here that people would know. Um, Halloween Town. He done that.
I
If
actually
anyone
love
remembers that, yeah, so do
love
I.
that. I love
He
all of them. Even
done
have fucking stupid there,
The Ring 2. Kind of notable, I guess.
I guess.
He done Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
I actually really liked that movie. That's one movie that
Mm.
I was kind of didn't know what the hell I was gonna get, but did enjoy it.
But yeah, I definitely do get what you mean about that. But again, like there was so much
I'm not
stuff. I
shitting on
think,
him. I'm just saying that like it was a different time, right?
yeah, for sure.
Can we have to do I don't know how to do this, but a big deep dive into zombie movies. Or if
Yeah,
we
I'm
should just
sure we
cover
could.
certain ones. Because they're a big influence on me, and it's, even though the makeup in some of them were like just horribly done, and because you just needed background people, because there's so many people in makeup running around a set, that you kind of need to do that. But realistically, I don't know. They had a pretty good budget, man, especially at that time.
There's definitely like
There's things missing.
there's yeah, but there's so many like little seeds I think of like what could have been in a way because the I had written down like the film also touches on similar themes of like the small town paranoia and sins of the past, similar to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah,
As we see
that's true.
Dr. Giggles come back to like seek revenge for like in his mind perceived injustices against
Mhm.
his family. Now, obviously,
Yeah,
I know like him and his family are the villains, but like in their mind, he's coming back to like right the wrongs that the town done or whatever.
yeah. Everyone has their own perspective, man.
Yeah,
So in
so
his
it's
mind, in his crazy mind, it's like we are justified for the things I'm justified for the things that I'm doing. To
yeah,
like
and it's like you
seriously like
say
harm
on your
people.
show and like other episodes we've covered, where like you know different historical events and stuff, and you only get to see it from one perspective, but there's a whole other perspective, like where that
Yeah.
side also thinks that their version is
And who's
like
crazier?
yeah, and it's like, well, no,
Yeah.
we're obviously the victims and we're doing this because of this and that. So like I think there was a lot of stuff
It's
maybe
very true.
underlying in the movie
Mhm.
that like just kind of got left there.
Well, I'm
When
sure
it,
that like having a psychotic dad that's like killing people for his own experiments to give your mother a heart. Because that shit is like crazy that he's like, your mother's died. It's a broken heart. And
yeah,
he's
it's a
got
bit fucked up. A little
it's
bit
kind of
fucked up.
crazy. I know. And
Yeah.
then his son having to witness that kind of stuff.
Um yeah, so when it came out, it had as you can imagine, mixed reviews upon its release. But since then has gained a cult following among fans of the genre. Its gleefully twisted premise, memorable kills, and Larry Drake's delightful deranged performance have earned it a place in the pantheon of cult horror slasher classics. Despite its initial commercial underperformance in the box office, the film's enduring popularity speaks to its lasting impact on the audience and the status as a beloved cult favorite. Which I definitely do think it is. Like for its fan base, they're like quite hardcore about it,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Well, I could see why. Like I get why people love this movie, and I think I would have loved it more if I experienced it younger. you know. So and the thing is, I still enjoyed it, and realistically, it'll be a movie that I would watch again. You know, especially with a friend that's never seen it, and be like, you want to see like a dumb, fun.
Yeah, it's just like a goofy.
Yeah, you know, you want to enjoy it. And the thing is, this is why I enjoy horror specifically too, right? As it says, most times you don't really necessarily see what's coming, and it kind of I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah,
usually it's an hour and a half. Hopefully, you know.
I do feel like what you said though, like Larry Drake's. I had written down some other things here, like Larry Drake's performance. His portrayal of Dr. Giggles kind of cements the whole movie, I think, and it makes him feel like a horror icon, even though, like, we know he's not, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
establishes it within the world of the movie that, like, oh, this is like this like scary like boogeyman character in this world.
Mhm.
Um,
No, I
and I think
agree.
they've done quite a good job. And I think I would agree with what you said, where I just feel like he was the right amount of like he had the look, the kind of
Mhm.
weird goofiness, but also seemed like his I don't know whether it's his stature or whatever, because like
Yeah.
he's quite a big guy by the looks of him.
Mhm.
So I'm like, he's being goofy, but at the same time, I can imagine he could probably pick me up and smash me over his knee.
Yeah, like poor, poor,
Uh,
poor guy.
what was that? Yeah, yeah. I was trying to think. I was like, well, I definitely heard that somewhere before.
So everyone, go check out that episode. When it's
Um, but yeah, like I like the atmosphere that they set of the small like little small American town with like the quaint
yeah,
charm,
and
and then like the
without him, man,
backstory.
it's well, and the thing is, if I saw like if in my head, if I pictured like a big poster of like a slasher films, right, that he would have to be in there somewhere. Like he might be hiding in the
Yeah,
background, but he's
yeah,
still
yeah, yeah,
there,
yeah.
you know. So like he's still part of this this multiverse, you could say, you know, because the whole time for throughout the 90s, everyone's like, man, if I could get like Leprechaun versus like Chucky, or you know, like, and which that's what some we have to cover at some point is like, you know, like Dr. Satan versus Dr. Giggles, man, who
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
wins, you know, because there's some fun stuff to do like that, but I do think that he is still part of this lore, and there was never a second one.
No, and like the intentions were, I think, to make it a franchise, but I
Don't you
think it's
want that?
I would fucking kill someone for that.
We're
I
showing a
started.
Dr. Giggles figure. It's on eBay, bro.
What? I've literally never seen it. I will buy that shit right now.
I'm actually curious if it's fucking because I did say it was on
Wait now.
eBay. Dr. Giggles.
This is everyone's gonna get like a live view of my fucking severe autism now, because if this is real, I am buying that shit right now, and I don't
I
care how much
saved
it
it and
is.
I saw that like I remember seeing that it was on eBay. So
Dr. Giggles.
I don't know, doll. Because I
I
have to
fucking
find
love
it.
this movie. I literally don't care. And like there's all little like there's little nods to like other movies like Psycho and
I found it.
Frankenstein
It
and
is. Oh, dude, it's fucking. It's almost $300 in my money.
Christ Almighty.
So I don't know if you should make that purchase. That's fucking
Maybe I'll
crazy.
change my mind.
Distinct dummies. Dr. Giggles collective figure in hand. Yeah, that's crazy. And shipping is still $19. Did you
I
find
want
it?
it so bad though.
Did you find it?
No, not yet.
Yo,
Let me see.
their stuff is very expensive. Whoever and it's not that well made. Distinct dummy figures. This Friday 13th one goes for $500. Look at that crappy looking doll, man.
Oh, from Wrong Turn, is it?
Is it Wrong Turn?
Yeah,
It's
it's
Wrong
fucking
Turn.
Tree
I
Finger from
thought it
Wrong
was
Turn.
Jason because there's some bald retard. Sorry, everybody. I'm just kidding. Look, man. It is fucking. It's fucking.
I found
$300.
another one, a different one.
Did you?
Yeah. Is there any way for me to like bring this up
Yeah.
on
You can share your
screen?
screen. Wow, man.
I have problems.
Like I will spend the money. Okay, here we go. $500, man. That one's fucking cool though. It's just crazy that things become so limited edition where they just don't make them anymore. Never will, never have. They made them for like a week, and they're like, "Oh, we'll sell what we got."
Oh, that's okay. Right. So somebody's just made this.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's made.
That's
I'm not
just
paying
like not even.
$500 for a piece of toy that you fucking made. Like
Hold
I
on, let me
get
see
the
if I can find any
nostalgic,
others.
the doll one, Because I think that's from the time, and it looks very vintage. Just like doll.
I wonder.
Look up doll.
Don't I? I'm just gonna fucking make my own one.
I know.
Ooh, I would
Good.
love that T-shirt as well. There's no way I would pay 400.
$370 fucking dollars.
Jesus
know.
Christ.
There he is. There he is. Wow, it's way less than your thing. Wow, that shows how Canada as fuck, bro. It was like 200. Oh wait, let me find it again.
Oh wait, what happened? Did that not open?
That's the doll that you want.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Hold on. Let me. What is it?
eBay.
Oh, here we
This is
go.
gonna be the end of the episode, so I'm gonna be like looking at this doll.
Sorry, everybody, audio listeners, but I'm looking at this doll. Like I can't help it.
Okay, what you want to see what my screen brought up when I was like I put it on. You want everybody? This is gonna be very funny.
Wait, I'm finding cheaper ones.
Wait, look, this is what mine came up with.
Ugh.
Look at Dr. Giggles doll. Oh,
Ugh.
Giggles doll. I didn't put doctor in, so that's a bad idea. Never not put doctor in, people. Okay, how do
Anybody want to
my-
donate to me? My Make-A-Wish.
I can't move my mouse. It's moving the other screen. I was like, we need to get this off screen. We're going to get taken down from everywhere. Fucking idle Giggles doll. Well, that's fucking weird. All right, let me look at Dr. Giggles. How much would you spend? Like, realistically? Like, if,
Well,
if
I found another one here now for 176 euros.
bring it up on screen.
It's the same doll, just cheaper.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how okay, realistically, how much would you spend? Would you spend that much?
Oh wait, is this? Oh no, I can buy it now. This is for the distinctive dummies, Dr. Giggles,
Yeah.
Dr. Evan Rendell figure and box. Happy to combine shipping. I will ship international as long as you contact me prior to get a shipping quote. Blah, blah, blah.
It's like I'm gonna buy it right now.
I swear to God, dude, Christ.
So how much would that be altogether? How about that be in Canadian money?
I don't know what's 177 euros in
I
Canadian.
don't fucking know. I'll look it up though.
Somebody, I need that, and then I need the signed Larry Drake, Dr. Giggles poster. It's the one with him holding the hands.
It's crazy how you can like. It's definitely like you have OCD or I guess it's some sort of autism. But I have OCD
Yeah, it is.
with like in conspiracy shit where I can't stop fucking reading stuff, and then it plagues my mental health. But man, holy shit, man! That would be $258 here.
Whoa.
Why is our fucking currency fucking
So
balls,
does
man?
does that mean then if I come to visit you, will I be like a millionaire if I like change money
Or
to
is
Canadian?
it or is it the reverse? Because
Or
when
is
if
it
it's
like-
more
yeah, is it like-
expensive over here,
So then
don't know
my
how that
money's like
works.
not worth anything.
because the states when we go to the states it lowers our value in money because I think their money is more expensive. I actually don't know.
Damn.
I'm gonna have to go down this rabbit hole. Keep talking about Dr. Giggles. I'm gonna find this out.
I love Dr. Giggles so much.
Tell me why you love it.
I found something even cooler, Thomas.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up on screen, please.
How much? So I'm trying to figure. how to
This
do
episode has gone off the rails now completely.
It's fine. People will enjoy this. You have no idea what's going on right now. It's just us talking about this doll, and everyone will look at this doll up and be able to find it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like look at the video
What the
version or
fuck
whatever.
is that?
So, my friend, this is a Dr. Giggles playset, apparently.
Holy shit, man!
So let's see, right?
Somebody made that, man. Somebody took the print of the
I
poster.
want it so bad. It's like
edited it.
it's like band-aids, a scalpel, some other like Dr. Giggles eye drops or something, and
It's
then
just
there's
like
like
his eyes.
and it says like includes Dr. Rendell photo replica. So I'm assuming that's a replica of the dad's photo. Someone buy me this. It's only
It's
$45 US.
for something that you could make. If you got someone to seal, like to create the packaging, that's all you
Yeah,
need, man.
true.
Because you could just put. This is what these people are doing. They do this on Etsy. We're like, here, buy this, and they just like take a picture of something, like put it in a packaging, and then they made it from their own like pubes and fucking twigs in the backyard. And
Yeah, but
someone's
it's,
like, "I'll
it's
buy
my
that."
autism. I can't.
I just
They're
want to
preying
know.
on people like me.
I'm obsessed with like, okay, so how much? So if I went to Europe, to Canada, so say $1. Say
You'd
like
be living in a
$5.
tent.
What
But
the
anyway,
fuck?
yeah, I love Dr. Giggles. Dr. Giggles is one of the best
Yeah,
slasher
man.
movies
No, it's
ever.
crazy. Okay, yeah. So if you came here, your $50 is equal to 73 of my dollars. So that means the Canadian economy is fucking going drastically downhill. So if you came here, say you came here with $500, it would be $730 here. But then everything is very
It's
expensive.
more expensive. Yeah, so
That's
then, like,
why, because everything is fucking crazy expensive. Wow, what an episode, man. I actually really thoroughly enjoyed myself. And
Same.
it's crazy how things can be so expensive for shit people just make in their own house for like
we should
pennies.
just start doing this. I feel like we could like take over the horror retardation realm and like make
Yeah.
all this shit for people like me.
Yeah, I could think of a couple products. I
You
already,
could, the minute you
thought
said
of
like pubes, I'm like, yeah, we could just like put pubes in a box and be like, exclusive Dr. Giggles pubes.
it's Shorty from Scary Movie fucking's hair. So here.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
just make up stuff and be like, yeah, green
I think
used
that's a-
hair.
I think that's a
Green
great
used
idea.
pubes.
Way back in the probably it was like really 2 years ago, a year ago. I was like, we talked about making serial killer dildos. So I was like, somebody will buy them. We'll make them like limited edition, and then you just kind of have to use your imagination. 'Cause
I'd
you don't
probably
really know.
buy Richard Ramirez's one.
Just to say, it's got he burned a pentagram once.
Oh,
Fucking
nice. Nice.
yeah.
Right on the bell.
Yeah. Oh, ow.
Nice.
He's definitely got a piercing. Right? It's
Oh
just
yeah,
like-
imagine so on those like gross ones as well. The skin is all gone fucked up and all.
I knew a kid that supposedly pierced his own penis when we were kids.
Well,
That's how we're gonna end this to make
you
people.
know a lot of
squirm.
strange fucking people.
I do. The kid was very young too. That's like maybe like 15. It was this really emo kid, really emo kid that we.
I
knew.
have
And he
to show off
claimed he
this
did
shirt.
it, and yeah, he just wants to show it off. And someone said he did it, so I don't know. But it could be like this kid. I just know this kid probably did it. It wasn't something he bragged about. It was something like, I did this because I'm that fucking crazy.
You know what I'm gonna get? I have a tattoo appointment on Thursday. I think I'm
You
gonna get a
Dr.
Dr.
Giggles.
I think so.
Do you just, because you know that guy, do you just book your appointments and then just figure out what you want when you're sitting
Yeah,
there?
just like randomly be like, you know what? Actually, I want a spooky island tattoo.
Man, fuck you, man. I miss
That's
getting
another one.
tattoos.
That's another one I have in my head where I'm like, ooh, spooky
I miss
island.
getting tattoos. It would cost me like my plan is to get like my Jedi Mind Tricks thing more defined because I drew it and then everything was very too close. So it just looks like a black spot because everyone was like, "What's this Chinese symbol mean?" And I was like, "It's a fucking hip hop group." And then so I finally got it underneath, but I did it, and then the artist doesn't fucking question my fucking very condensed thing. And then I was like, I need an outline, but then I want to get pyramids in my caduceus.
Oh,
And then I want
nice.
to get a fucking me on my arm. I want to get me abducted by fucking aliens. I have so many ideas for my tattoos.
Everyone
but it
needs to
costs
donate
a lot
to
of money.
Tom's Tattoo Fund.
Yeah, Tom's
We need to
tattoos.
start making all this stuff like GoFundMe's, like Tom's Tattoo Fund, Aaron's fucking
If we get like
Make a
$5,
Wish,
man.
Dr. Giggles doll collection.
I don't know. I feel like there's a fan out there that may buy you the $45.
I'll do whatever you want.
I'll do
If-
whatever you want.
If you buy me the one that's like 300 or 400, like that one, I will literally do whatever. So
Like Michael Jackson's be like, spread your asshole. If you've never
There you
seen
go,
Finding
yeah.
Neverland, you should
I'm gonna
probably
finish it
figure
on
out.
this.
Yes.
Woohoo!
All right, everybody, go support the show. You know, I forgot to say that there's one sound effect that I forgot to play.
That's not a horror movie.
Well, you haven't seen Shaq act.
I was gonna say that because this movie wasn't really like
Nice.
showing a lot of kills, but I'm like, come on, it needs to be worse.
I love this movie. Everyone should see it at least once in life.
Do I
best
know my
movie ever.
rating? We gonna rate it? Come
Oh
on,
yeah.
you have to be
Uh,
seriously rating how you're like. You got to be
Okay.
serious.
How many? What are we going to do it out of though?
Syringes in a fucking eyeball. I don't
Yeah, I suppose syringes is probably the best. So how
All right.
many syringes out of 10 syringes? How many syringes are you giving to Thomas?
Can we get yours first? Actually,
Tom's gonna give it like a fucking 3 or something. I'm gonna go with
I'll go with like. Listen to me. I'll go with like 4. But like, there's a needle that is kind of like you might bet your life on if you're gonna die or not. You know that like each one seems to give you something good, but there's one that just could do it for you. You know, is it the last one? Is the first one? It's a little bit of poison in there to be like it's it's.
Dr. Giggle Touch.
fuck that is like
What do you think?
I'm
What do
gonna
you think,
go
man?
with 7 syringes out of 10.
If you love it, it's an honest opinion, and I'm starting to like agree with a former co-host of the idea of like, you know, is rating it of how many times you would watch it, and I'm like, so
Yeah,
I'm like,
this is a comfort
so
movie for
there's
me.
movies I like, but I won't only watch like once. You know, like I did like Hereditary. I always bring that one up. That I liked it, but I didn't want to like be like, oh, let's watch this next week. You know, I was like, I've had enough of this. It's fucking freaky.
You know,
I'd love to watch the
yeah,
inside though.
I felt like that about what's that other fucking movie? Oh god, not Hereditary.
The one that's in the some Midsommar.
Yeah.
Which
I
I
felt
love
like
the
that about
cover.
that, and
Yeah.
I have watched that so many times now. And it's one of my favorite movies. Love it.
I've only watched it once. I think.
Oh, I love it.
Because
Love
I
it
was
so
like,
much.
it's still stuck in my head, man. That bear scene. But anyways, this is about Dr. Giggles.
Dr. Giggles is the man. So good. R.I.P. my homie. I was gonna say something really bad there.
Okay, can someone
Larry
ask me?
Dre.
Can I ask a question?
You
Who
can.
told Michael Jackson to go hee hee in music? Because if you listen back to his songs, why was he doing that? Like, why was that a thing that he's like, wait, just let me like hee hee, and then he's like, all right,
Yeah, it's a
that
bit
sounds
strange.
perfect.
a bit
Somebody
bizarre.
answer who told him to do that? Because it's the only artist that you know that goes like in the background. You'd be like hee hee. No one
You know
ever
what we
has
should
done that
start
since.
doing? We should
What?
start asking a question at the end of every podcast to see will
Yeah.
anybody reach out with the answer or a suggestion.
I agree. Why did Michael Jackson go hee hee? Because we're
I
talking
would
about
rather
Giggles.
I would rather not ask that question, but fair enough. Yeah, everyone
Here it's gonna be like,
rate.
who will pay for this doll for me?
Yeah, who's gonna buy me this doll? That's the question of the week. Yeah, make sure to rate, review, like, share, do whatever you can, jerk us off, to get us out there and more popular.
Yeah. That's yes. Ride our penises.
Yeah,
'Cause
please.
like that's the whole term of, you got.
Oh,
jump
actually,
on it.
speaking of medical malpractices, look at my
Jesus, your ears better or worse? I can't tell.
yeah, like it's hardened now and it's just like fucked up. So yeah, just gotta deal with it.
The only people are gonna know that are from the episode of the Burke and Hare.
Oh yeah, you'll have to. There's a mystery episode coming up where I have this weird ear. So
Aaron's been going into the graveyard. He keeps digging up bodies. I'm always like, I don't know if we're gonna get away with this. It's a weird practice. It's a good weird job, man.
And I finally have the classhorrorcast.com website back up again now.
Weird.
After all that time it was fucked up there, I stopped paying the host and
Yeah.
for the website. I just couldn't
Squarespace
stick it
is
anymore.
too much, fuckers. Fuck you, Squarespace.
Oh no! Now I've went and like smashed myself into Squarespace again, but I just
So
done it
expensive.
myself. Let me see if I can bring it up here finally before we get off. So
I
the
need a
website looked
picture for you, and you need to make a picture for me. That's what we have to do. We need
completely
some good
different
co-hosts.
than it used to.
Oh, that's sick. How long did that take you?
Quite some time.
Yeah,
Quite
that's
some
sick.
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, if
That's a
anyone
good
wants to
pick you
check it
got
out,
me, but I'm gonna get some. You have to give me a picture, and I'll get you. And I'll get a picture, and then just give it to me because I'm pretty good at editing.
so I
That's
have
cool.
all my old school articles that I wrote for like Room Org magazine and stuff. Dr. Giggles article, which is kind of funny.
Of course, yeah. That's funny.
I just took them and then reposted them
That's
on
awesome.
this now.
Yeah.
And then we have
You gotta go
obviously
check
a
this
host.
stuff out. You just gotta change that with Aaron Doyle thing.
all the episodes. Yeah, I need to get rid of that altogether.
I already told you I was gonna do it, and I just forgot about it because there's something I have to change. That's
So,
cool.
There we go. So everyone,
You didn't use
support
my
that.
description. I noticed that.
I know. I
sent you a
had
new
put that up
description.
first, and then you sent me the description. I was like, I'm too lazy.
I know how to do it right now. That's awesome. I think that looks fucking dope. And obviously, we know what you gotta do.
We're feeling horny for love. We're feeling horny for love.
Give us some love, people. Okay, 5-star rating reviews. Best way to do it free. You know.
It is actually, and that's something we keep reiterating over and over again, and I can't explain that enough. Like that,
For
pretty much,
reviews,
I'm-
for
I'm-
reviews. We want reviews, okay? We need them. We want them all, okay?
I don't know what this is. I have something down on my roadcaster here called new outro.
Just try it. Oh, that's. I don't hear it.
Evil wears many masks, but pure horror wears
I-
only one. Support
Don't-
First Class Horror on Patreon for as little as $1. Can't get enough of the horror? Carve yourself a deal from official merchandise only on Teespring. Join us on all social media at First Class Horror. We have such sights to show you.
Did you put your voice in some sort of AI?
No, I actually don't know where that's from because that's not a new outro. I'm like, where the fuck did I feel like I used
That's
that like
funny.
20 years ago. Yeah, well, I'm just gonna keep rambling if not. So yeah, check out Dr. Giggles, best show ever, best movie ever. I'm
Now
gonna
give us
revive
your
it
laugh.
and bring it back.
Give us your Dr. Giggles laugh. You see.
Oh Jesus Christ, no.
Come on, try it.
No.
Oh man, you're like
Nope.
Billy. You just won't be
No.
pressured into doing things. And I'll just be like, I don't give a shit. I'll pretend I'm the leprechaun for fucking 2 minutes and sound awful. Take a
No,
look
I
out
can't
for
do
that
it.
clip on just Instagram. Will be coming soon.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.